bottom of our hearts, thank you kindly.
Snorlax pit. The bottom of a Snorlax pit.
Sorry, did you say Snorlax pit?
Wait, it's about that.
That's a Pokemon.
Just end it.
Hello and welcome to Cassette Take, where you can eject wherever you want, but please don't forget to rewind. I'm Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And okay, so we've been sharing our thoughts quite a bit on the Acolyte and Star Wars at large for the past couple of weeks. And we're
tired. We're just really tired.
We just watched episode 5. And
wait, what? Are we on 5 already?
Oh, sorry, 4. 4. See, I'm so it's all divulging together.
It all blends together, obviously.
But before going into episode 4, I was thinking, I'm not sure if we should even talk about the Acolyte anymore because of how, we should just wait for it all to release because I feel like we're just getting bits and pieces and all that. And I'm not getting as excited, from the start of this to now and all. So, I'm going into this with low expectations and all that. So we start episode 4.
Yeah.
4. I almost said 5 again. And I'm like, I see the 35-minute timestamp, and I'm like, oh, great, a half-hour episode. This better be a good episode.
Not even a half an hour. I think that episode was like 28 minutes.
You just 7 minutes of credits.
Because you need that, obviously.
Okay, so basically, I'm going into this episode, seeing that timestamp roll in my eyes immediately, but like, okay, better be a good episode. I start the episode. And we as an Ethan
yes,
have been, we're really enjoying it, actually. I'm like, this isn't that bad, and it's a little more lively, it's a little more charismatic than the previous episodes, and I'm like, I can get on board with this. This is enjoyable. I mean, there's a few things I can nitpick here and there, a little bit of the editing and
the acting.
Well, the acting I could get behind more in this episode than say 3. But overall I'm enjoying it. I would say I have a few nitpicks, but again, they're nitpicks, so overall I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I almost forgot, actually I did forget about the length of this episode because I was so immersed. I was actually interested and engaged in what's going on. And then we get to the end of the episode. This giant, I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say it builds up to this very epic climactic moment. And that's so cool. That feels like this whole show was kind of building up to. And I'm like, oh, heck yeah, this just feels like we're going to get started going here. And I'm excited. I'm like, hell yeah. And then it cuts to credits. And I literally, no hyperbole here. I don't really get vocal. I'm a very quiet person when I watch things by myself. I looked at my TV dead in the screen and I said, fuck you. So loudly. And I'm just, it's, you don't deserve to do that. You don't deserve to have a cliffhanger like that. That isn't really even a cliffhanger. It's just cutting in the middle of the action when your episode is only a half hour long, if not less than that. When you've established you could make 40-minute episodes or 50-minute episodes, you don't have the right to do that. This show has a problem with structure, with momentum, and those are my main gripes with it. Everything else, it feels like there is just, this whole sense of okay, this could be a really good concept, really good show, some great writing and great mentality behind it. The execution with the structure and storytelling just is not there. And my theory is it's because of this being in development and going into production under the JPEG era, where it was quantity over quality. And you kind of toss your hands up when you hear that, because it's like, well, what else do you do except like if it's decent enough, you release it, you know? And yeah, so it just pissed me off. So I'm sorry, I did not let you speak. Go ahead.
No, you're okay. I totally agree. Let's first off say this. Ethan and I don't love this show, first off. Some people think we love it. We don't love it. We're not simping over this show, first off. Not saying names, but but the thing is with this, there is good stuff in this.
Yes.
I have to agree with you. I did really enjoy the beginning. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I kind of like the Jedi together, like going and all that. There's issues with it that I want to dive deeper into, but I agree. This is such a mess, and it might be such a mess because of the Chapek and Iger era drama, whatever happened there. Because you looked into this a little bit more, right?
Mm-hmm.
That this show was in development with when Chapek gained power.
Yeah, so basically, Chapek was in charge when this show went into development.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time it was going into production, I believe it went into production October of 2022. Chapek didn't leave and he wasn't fired until November of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So this show was already well into production by the time Chapek was let go. And before this, Iger could come in and switch it back to quality over quantity. And even then, it's not just like an immediate flip of the switch, right?
Yeah.
So it takes time to get, that mentality shift and all that. We just saw like how slow of a transition it was for Pixar, going from the Chapek to the Iger era again, where Elemental took a while to get going, with its legs and all that to make almost, to make $500,000 or $500 million. So, I mean, the Chapek era just really screwed the show over, and you can't really help that. It's just a victim of that, and it sucks. It's unfortunate, but that's just what we get.
Well, it's interesting because so many Disney Plus shows have suffered because of the Chapek era, and now we're kind of getting back into it. You can look at Marvel even. Like, Marvel had like string of bad shows after bad shows after bad shows, and now they're like, oh wait, maybe we shouldn't make bad TV. Let's reshoot Daredevil and all that. So you can look at the Chapek era and even what it's done to Star Wars. But the thing to me that I will just not understand is, why didn't they just axe it? Batwoman got axed.
Well,
Why
here's
not
the
axe
reason
it?
why. One, I think the budget was too big for it to be like with the people behind it, and the fact that it's not a terrible show. Like, don't get me wrong.
There's hints of good in it.
Well, not only hints, but like there's moments that kind of build up together where it's like, this is good. Like, because I'm not willing to say right now that this show is terrible. I will not, especially when not all of it is out yet.
Yeah.
I think overall, right now, the show is probably a 5 out of 10 for me, based on what we've seen up to episode 4. It could change for better or worse as we go on, but right now, straight down middle of the road, 5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, especially like with how much money and how much time was already put into it, and the creatives behind it, and the fact that it's something that came out of an era that is still good enough to be shown. Like, we don't know how bad Batwoman was. I'm sure that one had some elements that were really cool on paper, but in regards to execution, we don't know. And it would have cost them more money to kind of proceed to make the Acolyte was already kind of done by the time that Iger could really get his bearings on him again, to really get his situation in Disney going. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense to still show it, especially since it's not that bad of a show. Like, I think on the average, I mean, heck, even the people that watched all 4 episodes before we did, like actual critics, right now it's an 84%. Anything beyond that, that's like for everyone else to watch at the same time and see if that tomato score shifts.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see where this all goes. But again, I figure that this was part of the JPEG mentality of quantity over quality and was a victim of it. And I hate to see that. But, you just toss your hands and roll your eyes and be like, well, honestly, considering all of that, the show is not that bad.
Well, it's just, it might not be that bad, but it's definitely going to put another hit on the Star Wars universe. Like, how many Star Wars things in the past 5 years have come out and we're like, that's awesome? Like, not too many. Again, we have Mandalorian season 1, season 2, Andor, but there's a lot of shows that have come out that have tarnished the reputation of Star Wars.
Yes.
And to keep going with it, I don't know if it's the right mentality. And I want this universe to be fixed. Like, I do think there's things to fix this universe. And it just sucks. Like, I don't know what's next. I don't know what's coming next for Star Wars. I don't really think we have anything on the docket. But
Skeleton Crew, I think, might be.
Is that actually happening now?
Oh, yeah. I think it's in post right now.
Oh, that's interesting. But there's stuff about this show that just bothers me. Like, right away, I texted Ethan, and I'm like, am I missing an episode? I just feel like I was missing a whole chunk.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just this show. Again, I'll go back to my biggest gripe across all 4 episodes so far is structure and flow. Like, the story flow is just so all over the place. We have momentum going at first where it's like, okay, murder mystery. We're going to find out who this is, blah, blah, blah. And then we kind of dedicate, once you have that momentum, it's like, okay, I'm still intrigued. I want to see what happens in the next episode. You even tease the whole idea of the Wookiee Jedi being the next thing. And then the next episode is the most controversial one with the flashback. That takes the momentum out of it. You could have either had that episode as part of, one, to make it like The Last of Us, where it's like a full, hour and a half or hour 20-minute first pilot episode, right? And then continue on from there. Or you could have done it the route that you and I were just talking about before we started recording, where it's more like Andor, where you say put it in, blend episode 3, like cut it into bits and then blend it in this episode, which was only a half hour and really could have used it. Because I don't feel like you deserve to be left on that big of a cliffhanger if you had that much time left to utilize. A full 20 to 30 minutes you could have utilized there, and you chose not to. Why? Because it was quantity over quality, where you want to reach that 8-episode mark instead of just saying, let's do 6 episodes, or let's make this a TV movie like you keep saying.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, and it pisses me off to no end. But again, you view it from the JPEG era perspective, and it's like, that makes sense, but it's still, at the end of the day, you want something to be good, especially if it's Star Wars, and we're just not getting, at least at the moment, we're not getting that.
I just had a huge fear in my head. What if this is like a boomerang storytelling, just like how The Walking Dead was, where they'll cut back and forth from different characters, but for Star Wars, it cuts back and forth from different time periods. I just had that fear. Like, what if they, instead of carrying along with the story and where episode 4 ended, they cut back to when Osha was a little girl? Oh my God. No, please don't do that.
That would be
Idiotic.
Jedi seppuku.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, seriously, you'd be just axing yourself right there. Any momentum, any chance you had. Unless for some reason it's the best well-written thing we've ever seen in the grand scheme. We don't know, but at the end of the day, this show, there's so many people out there that are getting mad about it for all the wrong reasons, and that's infuriating me. With like, their people are like, oh, this breaks canon, like,
there's fire in space.
There's a cameo from a prequel character in the latest episode, and and it's like, oh, that breaks character. He's not even born yet, and I'm like, guys, that we went through this whole what's legends and what's canon thing like years ago.
Yeah.
If you can keep up with that and you're going to be actively mad about it, do your research and find out why you should stop yourself from commenting and looking like a public idiot. Like, seriously, do the research, take the time. I mean, it takes, with Google, it takes like half a second.
With Google, AI is quicker too.
Exactly. I mean,
Not sponsored.
God, no. But yeah.
It's just disappointing. I do want to, can we, quick spoilers right now.
Well, first, before we do,
Yeah.
out of 10 may or may not have been born at this time period cameos. How many would you give this episode?
It's just like, is at this point, it's a 5. Like, it's fine. Like, again, I kind of like seeing the Jedi together. I do like Daphne's King character. But again, the editing's the biggest issue for me. It's just edited so weirdly, and I feel like I'm missing stuff, and it just sucks.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, 5 out of 10, but my reason's different.
Yeah.
My reason is because I overall enjoyed this episode quite a bit. Like, it was going to be my favorite episode out of all 4, and I'm like, this is really great. And then when it was building to that moment of like, this is all going to come together, we realized we only got half of an episode.
Yeah.
And that pissed me off so much, to the point where it's like, if you're going to give me half an episode, I'm going to give you half a score.
Yeah.
So 5 out of 10.
That makes sense. That was really good. And you're going to give me half an episode.
Thank you. I'm going to trademark it. No, but yeah, let us know what you guys think about The Acolyte, episode 4. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Is it redeeming for you? Is it not? Let us know whatever you're thinking in the comments down below. Let us know your takes on our tapes. Now, spoiler time.
I want to quickly, the ending sucks because the villain comes and all that, and then it just cuts right away.
It cuts the Wookiee.
It does cut the Wookiee in half. Wait, no, it's not in half.
Slash across the chest.
Across the chest.
It's like, it's probably smelled like a really weird crab iron in there.
I wanted to say that the design for the Sith Lord or whatever it is really cool. Is it, to you, did he float?
I think, well, yeah, he kind of like glided down a bit.
Okay, that was really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. We've seen Count Dooku do that, like in the old Clone Wars. Yeah, I'm just like, that's cool. Like, it's eerie. You know?
It's so cool. Don't cut it, and then it cuts.
Yeah, I mean, and people are complaining like, oh, when can like Jedi and Sith fly? I'm like, guys, do you like limiting the abilities of the Force? This omnipotent essence? Like, seriously, are you kidding me? Like, guys, you're making this galaxy that is far, far away and like so wide and filled with possibility, and you're just like, that can't happen. Like, not even in a timeline sense, but just more so like I don't like that. That can't happen.
I feel like Ethan just has such a problem with Star Wars fans right now.
Which is so, I've been coming across people that are like genuinely good. It's weird. While kind of pushing against the fans that are just like, hey, I don't like this, but like, and this is my reasoning. And your reasoning is like objectively wrong because you didn't bother to do the research about the lore. If you're going to use the lore as an example, again, stop yourself from stop it, get some help, do the research before you post and look like a public fool in the town square. Now, I've been seeing as a result, coming up in my algorithm, my little feed boy, that this show, like, I've been seeing fans that are like, hey, if you don't like it, cool. If you do, be respectful to each other. And a lot of people have been liking the show and love it a lot more than you and I.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You guys are lucky.
Yeah, I envy you. Same thing with like Percy Jackson and all that. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of that show, but and there are people that love. We have a friend of ours that really loves the show, and like, that's awesome. I envy you so much, and I can respect that opinion, but it just didn't work for me. And they have valid reasons, and they use like, say, lore to their advantage, and like, they're right about it, but it's all respectful. And I'm glad I've been able to find those people. I wish that there were more of us, But maybe there actually is, and they're just quiet.
They're just hiding.
Yeah.
Like the Wookiee.
Yeah, sometimes the biggest idiots are the ones that reveal themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah. There's an Abe Lincoln quote about that, but my phone's all the way, like 1 foot away from me. I'm not going to reach it.
Okay. I think it's just interesting. Like, I do also, this is kind of a crazy theory, but like, is May's friend the Sith Lord? Could he be the Sith Lord? He kind of seems a little like out there, so I don't think he is, but a part of me is like, oh God, are they going to do that?
I think at first I was thinking, like midway through the episode, that he definitely was, because the music cues were the same ones that we heard when Palpatine was kind of manipulating Anakin with his talk, as Palpatine to Anakin when they're just walking through the corridors casually, right? And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like those music cues.
Yeah.
And by the way, shout out to the guy that does the musical score for this show. Very well done. I'll have to pull up your name. But yeah, shout out to you, man. You're rocking it. Like, I think this is a genuinely good Star Wars musical score. It doesn't sound like just generic or anything like that. It's like there's a lot of heart put into it, and just bravo, job well done. But
I don't think he is him. If he is,
it might be a red herring.
yeah, it probably is.
It just felt way too obvious when it got to one point. I'm just like, if it ends up being him, I might be a little disappointed, but
Yeah.
it could also be. Did we ever see the other, the one who carried May and Asha in her womb?
Oh, the mother?
Did we ever see her corpse, like in the army? Because obviously we see their main mom, right? But we don't see the Darth Maul, the white Darth Maul looking one.
I know what you're talking about. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good guess, honestly.
So, and she seemed more lenient towards like the dark, like kind of viewing things out of fear,
Yeah.
like a dark side mentality. So it could be.
I just think it'd be interesting because I don't want to, like, I don't know, like, I just feel like Star Wars is going to make it someone we know. And so it could possibly.
Yeah, and if they did, then I don't know. Like, if it's someone we know that's been established within the show alone, then awesome. If not, you got to establish them somehow. So it's like we don't have to do homework beforehand. So I don't know. Like, it does provide a new angle to the show, where it kind of reinvigorates my passion for like, oh, who is this guy? But at the same time, it's like every time the show gains momentum, it cuts it off. Yeah. Like, whoever the Wookiee Jedi's name's best. It's quite the close shave. But yeah, one of the things though that we brought up in our non-spoiler talk just a moment ago was the fact that there's a prequel character in this. And
I have no idea who you're talking about.
I might be butchering the name, but Kai Mundi, the guy with the tall pencil head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I thought at first it was just like one of his species, right?
Oh, it's actually him?
It's actually him. Like, if you look at the credits, it's him.
Oh.
And in Legends, he was born, I guess, like 40 years after the events of the Acolyte. And obviously that's Legends, and it's been established as Legends for a while now. So he doesn't have from my understanding, a certified like canonical birth date.
Yeah.
And this show kind of gives him that, like, just like this, he exists during this timeline or during this time, and it's just like that's cool. I'm like, it's great to see a familiar face. I think it's cool, but to have all these other people that's like, no, like, again, idiots in the town square. There's just so many of them.
He's not a significant character, so I really don't care.
Well,
like, if it was like, here's Luke Skywalker, I'd be like, okay.
I have a lot of questions.
Yes. Like, that's the thing. Like, to me, like, that does not matter at all. If they're not a significant character, who gives a rip?
Well, the thing that's significant about him, and I think this actually makes it a very, like, a much cooler storyline, is the fact that when Sith are brought up in the Phantom Menace, he's the one that says, like, Sith haven't been seen for, like, millennia. you know. So the fact that he is, you know, the one of the ones that's like, you know, part of that group that says we shouldn't be bringing this up to the High Council. I think it establishes more of the idea of how ignorant the Jedi are to, you know, existential problems.
Yeah.
And just this whole idea of like, maybe he was kind of saving face when he's part of the High Council in Phantom Menace, and he's like, oh yeah, like I don't know, they haven't been seen for millennia, and it kind of leans into the idea of like the Jedi being basically assholes. So
Okay, I'll take it back. I think that is definitely interesting. I think just like to me, I'm like, we haven't like this show, again, I've said it many times, this show was promoted as a Sith show. We haven't seen, we've seen the Sith Lord twice, and May gets a half of those screen time. Like, I'm so sick of Jedi. Like, Jedi scum. Just
Jedi scum.
I just want to see Sith Lords going at each other.
My theory is that the hang on, Michael Abels, I believe.
Oh, the music
yeah,
guy?
the composer for the show.
Shout out to you, Michael.
Well done, man. Well done. I love your score so far. Released on Spotify now. But anyway, so yeah, my theory is that this is still being told from the Sith perspective, but like not the Sith. It's going to be the one that becomes a Sith.
Oh,
Like, so this is like showing how manipulative the Sith can be to gain someone that was once like a good to be that Sith, you know, like,
interesting.
yeah, like manipulation. And
Who do you think's gonna go over to
well, obviously we've seen May kind of make a shift.
to the good side, which was so random.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think it was too random. It kind of like made sense. Like, hey, you want me to do this? Like, kill these Jedi
Yeah.
without a weapon, without like all this other stuff.
Kind of selfish in a way.
Yeah, it's like, are you kidding me? So like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I have a theory that Asha is going to become the Sith.
That'd be interesting.
They do mention that she has a tattoo, like in the early stages of the show, like in the first episode, I think, or the second episode, that she has a tattoo that Soul points out. And he's like, where'd you get that? And she's like, oh, like a party or something like that. And I have a feeling like you didn't write that in for nothing. You did not write that for nothing. There is a meaning there.
That'd be interesting because her story is kind of like Ahsoka in a way where she left the Jedi Temple, but Ahsoka didn't like turn bad and all that. So it'd be interesting if Osha turns bad.
And the Sith should have killed, like stabbed. Why didn't he or she stab Asha?
Yeah.
There's a reason behind that. And so I have a feeling like they're manipulating, like they're working in the shadows here. I think people's problem was there used to be this whole mentality of the Old Republic where the Sith were very like pronounced and all that. And they were working in the, like not really in the shadows, but like just they were evildoers that were proud and out loud, more like a Game of Thrones thing where, you know, yeah, they do work in the shadows, but they also are like very prominent and are willing to go onto the battlefield like very often.
Yeah.
You know, because it was a Sith empire during the Old Republic. Now there's very far, you know, few in between, and they are just, you know, hiding. So I kind of give that show a little bit more of a pass with like the amount of Sith we're seeing, which is like little to none.
Yeah.
But you know, it that's why it's like I gotta watch it all the way through, because maybe it's just like this showing of how someone becomes a Sith rather than someone's already a Sith and they gotta work their way through it.
How many episodes is this again? Around 8 to 10 episodes?
I believe 8.
Okay. Interesting. I like that idea. We'll also have to see.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm shocked we've been talking about the Acolyte for this long.
Same. I mean, about the same length as the episode itself.
That's so bad.
Yeah, you want to tell Leslie Island that?
Sorry, Leslie.
But
We love you.
hey guys, let us know your takes on our tapes here with the most recent episode, The Acolyte. Are you guys excited about it? You looking forward to the next episode? Or are you like us?
Ethan sounds so defeated right now.
Just when I think it's getting good, they pull me away. They force push me away. Okay, anyway, so fast forwarding on to our next topic here. We got a couple things in the news that have happened. And one of them is a little thing called Spaceballs.
Went to another galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
Calm the desert. That's my favorite line.
Yeah, I love that. It's like the whole thing was like, who's that? Well, that's who. Like, from when? Just now.
Just now. Oh, the stunt doubles. So funny.
Oh yeah, that's such a great movie.
So good.
And yeah, so I found out about this through the Hollywood Reporter, and they said that Mel Brooks is coming back to produce it, which heck yeah. And it's not a remake, it's a sequel, which I was even more excited about.
Yeah.
And Josh Gad is going to be starring in this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a good get, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm wondering who he's going to be playing. Like, is it just going to be, what's his name? Candy's character?
Yeah, I was looking. I'm like, I don't remember any of the characters.
Like the dog?
Yeah.
Wookiee man?
Dog Wookiee.
But
Oh my god.
yeah, no, like this movie seems to like has a lot going for it. You bring someone like Mel Brooks back, God, I hope he's alive by the time they get this thing going.
Oh my goodness. I hope they do. They could bring back a lot of the cast, I feel like.
Now the question is though, are they going to make a sequel to just the story that they've established, or are they going to go ahead and parody the sequel trilogy
Oh.
or franchises at large?
I think that would be cool if they did a parody, because that's the best part about Spaceballs. It's so funny. I kind of hope they don't do a sequel and it's like a parody, like you said.
Yeah, I'm hoping, because we really need it. We really need a good parody film.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute.
And there's a lot of good stuff you can use in the Star Wars prequels or even sequels. I think that would be really interesting if they did that.
Yeah, and honestly, I could see a joke. Oh God, I hope they do this. Like a really well-written joke where it is all about like, all right, well, when did that happen? When was this established? Like, well, that was in the prequel. It's like, when were the prequels a thing? Like, well, they were, but like, before the sequels. Like, what sequels? Well, they take place after the original. It's like, right.
What?
Like, when was the original? Oh, that was years ago. But that's not the point.
I would love that. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, like well-written dialogue,
Yeah.
like comedy, like it's just we really need some good stuff
Yeah.
here,
Baseball. Oh my goodness. Dark Helmet. They could do so much with that and Kylo Ren.
If they had like the dark popcorn bucket.
The popcorn bucket. The popcorn bucket challenge continues.
Oh god, yeah.
That's exciting.
Dude, you could have a dark helmet popcorn bucket.
I would love it. I would buy it.
I would buy that in a heartbeat.
Ethan and I one day are going to just have a popcorn bucket shelf.
Yeah, it'd be the biggest pranks you could pull on like an entire fan base or a bunch of moviegoers is like have it where the helmet is, filled with popcorn and all that.
Yeah.
But like have his voice microphone or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that little circle thing with the holes in it that kind of looks like a shower head.
Yeah.
The speaker. Just like have that leak butter. Like just have those be actual holes. It's like someone fills it with butter. It's like you fill it too much butter. Like it just gets all over your pants.
How many people do you think are going to see Spaceballs and think it's like a sequel to Star Wars?
Considering the audacity of people's stupidity in the Star Wars fandom, I think there's a pretty good chance.
Pretty high.
They're like, this isn't lore.
Dark Helmet. He wasn't in the originals.
Dark Helmet was always there, man. What are you talking about? He was part of the High Council. God. And then, he was first a puppet. and then they like CGI'd him later because it didn't look all that good.
And then George Lucas said, "You gotta make him look like a puppet. Why don't you use a damn puppet?"
You gotta make him look like a puppet. It's
My favorite George Lucas quote is he's like toad pole.
what?
He's like it's like a toad pole. He's
Toad pole?
Yeah, or however
A tadpole?
No, he says toad pole. It's funny. I'll pull it up.
Okay, I have no idea what that means. A toad pole. It's like it's a toad pole.
I love that.
Yeah. But
George Lucas comes and directs Spaceballs.
dude, if George Lucas cameos in Spaceballs, too, that'd be awesome.
Celebrate.
But hey, guys, let us know what you're thinking about Spaceballs 2. Are you guys excited for it? Are you really in dire need of a parody movie, especially about one that would be refreshing as like to make fun of a saga such as Star Wars? I mean, hey, let us know whatever you're thinking in those comments down below, and let us know your takes on our tapes. Annmarie, care to do the honors of introducing our final topic of the day?
Is it what we talked about earlier?
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay, just double checking. Uncharted 2 is in development. Yeah.
I could hear the question mark at the end of that. Yay.
Just making sure. We discussed this beforehand, but I was like, okay, hold on. I love Uncharted. I'm a huge fan of the games. Ethan, being the sweetest friend ever, actually got me a call. What is it called?
Oh, a cameo.
A cameo from the wonderful actress who plays Elena in the games. I think she's so incredible. I love her so much. I want her in more stuff. And so when we went to go see the first Uncharted that was a while ago. Was that 2019? No way.
I might have been.
2022. I'm sorry. It feels like a 2019 film. When we went to go see it for my birthday, I was really excited. And it was okay. It's not terrible. It's just an okay movie.
Yeah.
It's very different from like the Nathan Drake that we get in the games and everything. And so they have announced that they're making a sequel, which I'm very excited about. And there's a few things that I want. I need in this.
Yeah, be on the lookout for Annmarie.
Yay. But truly, like, I do think this is a franchise that can do super well if you do make some adjustments to it. Like the tone, the character. That sounds like a lot. But
You just listed two things.
So sorry. Well, just the tone and characters are huge parts of movies. But, like, again, I think, you know, Tom Holland's a little bit older, so maybe he'd play it a little bit more mature. Nathan Drake, maybe you introduce Elena. Please introduce Elena. And there's so much that you can do. Like, the Uncharted world's so big.
Yeah. I gotta say, I got mixed feelings about this Uncharted 2 because it's like I just watched, you know, after seeing the first Uncharted movie, right? I'm like, well, that was okay. That was, you know, probably just above average. And then, you know, a couple years later, I see this movie called Mission Impossible. Like the newest one, whoever it was.
Dead Reckoning.
Death Reckoning. At the time, it was called Part 1. And there was a sequence where it was just like, I'm like, this feels so much like an Uncharted movie. Like, it felt more like an Uncharted movie than the actual Uncharted movie was. Like, why couldn't we do something like this? And, you know, hindsight's 20/20 sometimes, but it's like, I don't know, I feels like if you do the iconic train sequence from the actual Uncharted 2 video game, which I would love to see on the big screen, it kind of feels like Mission Impossible Death Reckoning kind of already covered that fairly recently and did a great job of it. So, I don't know, I feel like when they do something that is going to be big, they really should go big with it. But I don't know, like with the amount of iffiness they did with some of the other big large-scale events in the previous movie, I'm not sure if they're going to go through with, like, you know, a bigger budget. I don't know.
It'd be interesting because
something like I do not like the finale of the Uncharted movie. I think it's terrible. It looks so fake to me, which is so dumb because him falling out of a plane, I'm like, I totally believe that. But like the boats in the air swinging, like you're back into Captain Jack Gland and everything, Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't love that. So I wouldn't mind something smaller, to be totally honest. I recently watched Deadpool, the first one. And yeah, the ending has like this big like explosion and all that, but it was much smaller. And I think that made it more special. So if you could do something like that, like my favorite one's the fourth one, obviously. And the ending with him fighting Wraith in the boat when everything's exploding, I think something like that would be perfect.
Yeah, I really like Uncharted 2. I'm not sure if it's my favorite, but it's definitely like, if I were considering my favorite, that one would definitely be like immediately thought up of right away. Which is why I'm like, I hope they take a lot of influence from it. But honestly, at the end of the day, no matter what, this movie, I just want one thing from it specifically.
What?
And this is the problem. The biggest problem I had with the first Uncharted movie was how they utilized music.
Oh, yeah.
The music, the score for that movie is one of the most generic, like, just a generic action suspense movie music I've ever heard. Except when it does take the little reach of, like, playing Nate's theme here and there and little bits and pieces of other Uncharted elements that make Uncharted's music unique. I'm like, okay, these are cool. I like this. But overall, it was just generic suspense thriller music.
Which is so dumb because you have great music in the game.
Exactly.
Just take that.
So I just want like a great, listen, whoever did the music for the first Uncharted movie, if you're being brought up for this one, please go out of your way to like make it more distinct. Heck, throw your own style in there to blend it with the Uncharted music, like in style, and just pull a Henry Jackman who jumped on like for the fourth game and just provided one of the best Uncharted scores out there.
Yeah.
Like seriously, just do it. Because Uncharted, one of the best things about it is its music that really immerses you in this like modern day Indiana Jones experience. And I think it was the last movie was missing quite a bit of that. Yeah. So I hope they do better with that in this movie. I'm gonna go see it no matter what. Like I'm excited because the first movie wasn't bad.
It was fun.
It was okay.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe arguably just above okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, I'm cautiously optimistic for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see. If it's just one movie so far, and we all know if some cases it was just a bad day at the office for some people and just a really good day for others to compensate that, we don't know, because making a movie is always a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
We don't know. But I just hope that people are more so in sync with each other and on the same page for this one to really provide like not just an okay movie, but a great movie.
Mm-hmm. And bring back Elena and we'll be okay.
That too. But yeah, I mean, hey guys, are you excited for Uncharted 2? I was gonna say
Dead Reckoning.
because like Uncharted 2 Dead Reckoning, the movie. Yeah, hey, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below and let us know your takes on our tapes here. We're excited to hear all your thoughts on whether it be on the Acolyte, this, or Spaceballs 2. I mean, yeah, I was trying
to think of a funny line from Spaceballs. All I could think of it was "Go in the desert." Which I already made that joke.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Pretty much, yeah. Bye.
No, hey guys, thank you again for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us for more. If there's anything specific, by the way, that you guys want us to review that's really close to your hearts, let us know. I mean, hey, we just passed 50 subscribers.
Thank you.
I know that's a small number to a lot of other people out there, but to us, that's like a big deal. We got 50, I think right now, 51 people that
Someone
like,
else
actually...
guys.
Right.
Hold on, let me unsubscribe real quick.
Oh, stop. No.
Even numbers.
No, but seriously, in all seriousness,
thank
the fact that 51 people care what us two bumbling idiots have to say.
And Ethan and I just started this because we like to talk about movies and shows. So it means so much that we got that. So thank you.
Yeah, so from the bottom of our hearts, thank you kindly. And
Snorlax pit. The bottom of a Snorlax pit.
sorry, did you say Snorlax pit?
Wait, it's not that.
That's a Pokemon.
Just end it.
From the bottom of our Snorlax pit. Thank you kindly. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Cassette Take. We hope you haven't ejected, especially after that. But regardless, please don't forget to rewind. Thank you guys and take care.
Go catch them all.